Hello and welcome back to another episode of the CQ the Watch Guy podcast with me, CQ the Watch Guy. Hope you're having an amazing day out there. I know I am. It's finally a semi-dry day here in Miami. South Florida has been wet and rainy and windy for the past few days, so definitely happy to see the sun kind of peek out. And after all the big storms, by the way, it was such a beautiful sunset. The sky was just orange and red. It's amazing. The benefits, of a rainy day is the aftermath, the silver lining to the cloud, as they say. Anyways, let's dive on in. New week, new moon swatch. That's right. Swatch has unveiled 3 new moon swatches. I was going to say moon watch, but not a moon watch. They're moon swatch. But we have 3 new moon swatch editions. I don't know if expanding upon or started a new sub-collection. It's the Mission of Earth collection, I guess. So we have a Mission on Earth lava, polar lights, and desert. The lava is red or orange, burnt orange, with a black dial and red accents. Actually, I think I like that one the best. Then you have the polar lights. This one's more interesting, very interesting. The color in the case is kind of a turquoise-ish color, blue bezel, but on the dial we have this aventurine inspired dial that I think works really, really well for this watch. And then you have the desert, which is just a really nice cream sand color with I don't want to say taupe, but a lighter gray or lighter brown, than the chocolate brown, like a milk chocolate brown with kind of a sand color case. And I think it works really well. My favorite probably would be the lava. I think I might try to actually get this one. The Polax is very interesting. I already have another blue moon swatch. I wouldn't go for this one, but I like that they made it a little bit exotic with this kind of aventurine inspired dial. I think it's very interesting. I like to talk about these watches because, one, I think they're fun pieces, but 2, I think it's such an interesting gamble and experiment by Swatch, the Moon Swatch editions, or even the Swatch and 55, the Bon Palm partnership. I think it was such a gamble for them to even attempt this, right? You're taking probably your most famous IP in the Swatch group, your Mega Moon watch, right? This is iconic. This is legendary. This is the one watch, no matter what, nobody can ever take away the Speedmaster, the Omega connection, the first watch on the moon, the things that it means to generations of watch collectors and enthusiasts and people who just love space. So many people love the moon watch. So to poke that, to, contort it a little bit, partner up with Swatch and make the moon swatch, it was polarizing to say the least. And in the beginning, a lot of people talk smack about him, and it went beyond aesthetics. And yes, it's bioceramic. What is bioceramic? And is it just a higher quality plastic and all that back and forth? But just getting the watch became so much of an issue. And the distribution is what I think a lot of people had issue with. And we'll never know, what really went on there. But I think personally, I know if I was launching this in the beginning, I wouldn't make a ton of them because you just don't know. Right? Because it's really, really a gamble. Either way, I think it paid off really well for them. And I think we've reached the other side of the peak. We're coming down the mountain of polarization where people have accepted the moon swatches, and people collect them, people love them, people enjoy them, especially if you can get them around retail. I think the issue will always come down to distribution for these. And as long as people have to stand in line and can't get a watch and have to wait a few months, you'll always have grumbles. But, as soon as the watches became more accessible, I went on Chrono 24 right before this just to see what moon swatches are trading for. And very close to retail, at retail, under retail. The Mission to Moon phase, the new Snoopy version, that one's going up. I think, I saw some for like 500, 550. I believe their retail is a little bit higher at like $350-ish, closer to $400, if I'm correct. The retail on these are $300, by the way. And I think we can, you could go back and forth and say for $300 I want this, this. You could get this watch with stainless steel and this quality, blah blah blah. I think also for $300 there's so much, let's call them fashion watches or watches that are like from brands you've never heard about that are like quality. You don't even know what type of metal is in that watch, and they're going for $400, $500, $600. So I think at every price point you'll always be able to say there's a better watch, there's a better option. But I think aesthetically, the connection for Swatch, which a lot of people have, the connection with Omega, which a ton of people have, and the fact that these are fun, they're cool, they're at a relatively accessible price point. And I think it's such a great gateway for people into the industry or into the hobby, right? For $300, you can get something that looks like a $6,000 watch, even more exotic. Of course, the quality of the materials, but just on flat aesthetics. If you've never had a watch and you've been gifted a MoonSwatch, I think if the collecting switch is on, exists inside you, not everybody has it. Some people will get a watch, they'll never wear it. But if you're susceptible to this addiction that we all have, something like this will turn the light on and really open you up to a whole world of collecting. And I see so many parents give them to their kids. I think this is a great graduation watch, and it's just a fun thing. And a lot of people, a big chunk of people are using these as travel watches, right? Before, in certain places, or depending on what you're doing, you don't want to carry something a few thousand or more on a trip. Something like this, you got a fun watch, a watch guy's watch, a nerdy watch, a conversation starter, but way less of a price point, and something I don't think anybody's ripping a MoonSwatch. I hope, knock on wood, nobody's ripping a MoonSwatch off your wrist. Anyways, I think it's a great entry, and I think we could all say whoever rolled the dice at Swatch and Omega, they're happy, but their heart was probably tense a little bit. But I think we're now to the point where every introduction, it won't be so much of a polarizing opinion. You always have people who will have things to say. But I think it's a fun watch, it's a great watch. But in the long run, in 10 years from now, when we look back, we'll be like, wow, during the midst of all the craziness that was going on when these were first released, this was a very smart business move that will, in 10, 20 years, I think still have great effects. Because just, I think it was reported that 2 million of these were exported or sold since the inception a couple of years ago. So it's dollars, it's revenue, and it's revenue that helps all the brands in the Swatch portfolio. And just akin as when the Swatch watch kind of helped the whole industry during the quartz crisis, I think the MoonSwatch can really help Swatch Group and just kind of pad the coffers a little bit. And it's a win-win because we're getting cool watches as well for a good price point. The Lava is the one. I'm just staring at all three. And I think the Lava is definitely the one I'm going for. I think, of course, you got to put a different strap on it. But again, a great, great win by Swatch. And dare I say, I'm excited to see what more they have to come on. I definitely think they should just keep it to MoonSwatches and 50 Fathoms and don't branch out into different brands. But what do I know? I just got a little podcast and I sell watches, right? Anyways, let us jump in to our watches of the week. Got a nice lineup for you. And remember, to see all the watches that I talk about here and many, many more, you go over to davidsw.com. You can check out all the different categories. I definitely suggest you check out the new arrivals page and bookmark that. And you could check that every day. We're putting up between 5 to 10 fresh watches, and things go super, super fast. So as always, if you see something, if you're interested, please reach out to us. You can call me. You can call anybody on the website. You can chat with us. You can WhatsApp with us. You can call with us. Text us. We're always up, and we're always happy to talk watches with you as well. And watches go really fast. I always suggest if you just have a few questions, reach out to us so we can answer your questions before somebody swoops in there and grabs a piece that you're hunting. So let's start off the picks of the week with a Tudor Black Bay Heritage Harrods edition. Now, I love a good Black Bay and Harrods edition. This was a full set from August 2021. I love because it always gave me, baby Kermit vibes, a vintage Kermit, if that makes sense. And the price point has always been relatively close to a normal Black Bay. A little bit of a premium because, of course, it's a kind of a boutique piece or a special edition from Harrods, let's say. So you can't easily get it in the US. But I think if you're interested in a black bay, you're looking for a nice everyday piece, but you want a little pop of color. Not something crazy, not something that's going to overpower the whole watch, your whole outfit, or what you're wearing, but just a little splash of color. I think the Harrods edition is nice. You just got that beautiful green bezel, some green font on the feet and meters reading, but everything else is just traditional black bay with that gold gilt numerals and the gold hands and everything. So it just gives me beautiful vintage aesthetic with a beautiful green bezel that's not, again, a loud lime green, a little bit of a hue into more is more a forest green. I don't have my palettes here to really tell you, but it's a watch I love very much, and it's a tank to anything, take anywhere type of beast, and something that I wouldn't be afraid to put a few straps on as well and really extend the life of that watch. But a really good pick if you've kind of been circling around that price point and you want something that's solid, that's going to last for a long time, and does have a uniqueness and a exclusivity a bit as well. I think this is a great piece to go for without crashing out your wallet, right? So let's go on up the chain, and we have a Vacheron Constantin 7900V overseas dual time with the black dial, excuse me. You know, I'm a big fan of overseas. I'm a double big fan of the dual times. I just think they're a little bit more exclusive than normal overseas. They have a little bit of a unique look, and I travel quite a bit. I have a lot of friends in a lot of different time zones, and it's actually one of the more useful functions out there. I think a dual time, something that you can use every day, and it just gives you a different look, especially when you're talking overseas versus going for a chrono or something like that. This black dial I like very much. Nice glossy black dial. What you have here with basically you have two time zones, a date and an AM PM indicator as well. So you know your AM and your PM. So AM PM indicator, you have a nice red arrow pointer there. And then on your second time zone, your travel time, you have a red arrow there as well. These two red accents really just give you the nice pop of color you want on this watch. Everything else is black and white and silver. Really clean, classy watch. But of course, it's a third gen overseas. So what's the extra bonus you get? Two straps. It's three watches in one. Super easy to interchange. Probably one of the easiest interchangeable systems out there, especially considering you have to do the buckle sometimes on different straps as well. So you get the metal bracelet, you get the black rubber strap, you get the black leather strap as well. Complete full set from December 2022. Price point on this, $27,875. What's the retail on these? $30,900 before sales tax. So you're talking about a great watch at a really amazing value right now. I love where these are trading because you're getting a little bit under retail, but they're not like not super volatile, right? So you can get into something like this and you don't have to worry about the value of your piece going up and down. You have to watch Chrono 24 every day. I think we're now in a stable environment where you can get something like this, you can enjoy it, and if you want to trade, you know your value is going to be there. And again, I think if you're someone who's looking to spend in this price point, really hard to find the value of three watches in one, three different looks in one, than you do with third generation overseas. And I think if you want something a little bit more exclusive, you don't want to go blue, you want to get something you like black, but you don't want the time only, you don't want the chronograph. The dual time is something great to add to the collection, and not something you're going to see many other people have as well. Something I rarely see them out in the wild, that's for sure. So another great pick there. And yeah, I just love the prices on these right now. So to wrap it on up, we have another old-time favorite of mine, the Patek Philippe 5524G, the Calatrava Pilot watch. This one's a full set, excellent condition from April 2020. A little bit of it's had a journey, right? This was definitely a misunderstood watch. I remember in 2015 when these came out, again, very polarizing, right? Because what is this? A pilot's watch, a Calatrava. This is so, unlike Patek, it's large because of the extra pushers. So at first, it did the traditional gets released, goes really high in the market, then it kind of dropped because people didn't really understand it. And now it's in a really interesting place because the collectors who love this style of watch have gravitated to it, and you've seen them really stabilize, and they rotate, or they sell through very, very fast. So it's very interesting because again, I've been watching these since 2015 and what they've been doing on the market. But if you're somebody who wants to jump into Patek, or you have a Patek already, you want something a little bit different in the collection, 5524G is such an interesting piece to look at because it's Patek. It doesn't look like any other Patek that's out there. It's a little bit oversized for Patek at 42 millimeters, and you have the two pushers there, so you get a little bit of a bigger watch, and you get those big numerals that are really like that vintage uh, aviation dial as well. You have those traditional hands on it, so it really gives you a fun watch. And this watch really opens up when you put different straps on it. This is a strap monster. You don't think about it, but this watch is a strap monster. I think you can have a lot of fun getting different color straps straight from Patek. If you go aftermarket, you can go crazy with different textures and things. And I've seen people do some really fun things with this watch. Blue straps, black straps, lighter brown straps. I even saw a green strap one time that blended really, really well because the blue is like a nice, deep, matte navy blue. It's not like a loud blue, so it works really well with whatever you put on it. And that just really changes the whole view and life of this watch to me. So if you're somebody love Patek, but you want something a little bit bigger, you want something a little bit more unique, then you want just a fun watch in its own way, I think the 5524G definitely something you should take a look at. Again, full set price point on this $38,875. Retail on these right now since the last increase around 57 and change, so close to 58,000. So again, really, really good value, something that you get right away and just enjoy, have a nice time. Get a few straps. Trust me, you will not regret it. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm CQ the Watch Guy, and remember, buy what you love.